Welcome to Tibalt's Apprentice, and we're going to get right into some combos, some Rakdos combos. Once we clear a few things up, we are making changes to our Prosper the Tomebound deck, and I thought, well, I've got a few upgrades for it, and while I'm looking at that, I should probably look at some Rakdos combos that would go in here and up the win average a little bit more. So with that in mind, let's just get straight to it. Havoc Festival and Wound Reflection. A deadly combo. When both are on the board, will kill all of your opponents. The first thing they're going to do is take damage equal to half their life, and at their end step, you take the rest of their life. So, 2 cards, just get them on the board in the same turn, and should be game over for everybody else. This next one, I thought about, this is too complex. I don't know, maybe I don't even want to talk about it. It is Molten Echoes, Bladewing the Risen, and Scourge of the Valkyries. This one requires so much setup and an intricate knowledge of the stack that it's a little difficult. I mean, you get a lot out of it. You get your infinite enter the battlefield and leaving the battlefield and infinite death triggers, but it's a lot to keep track of. It requires you already have 2 of the cards on the Molten Echoes and the Scourge on the field already. Then you cast the Blade Ring once you've named either dragons or zombies, and you have like at least 3 dragons on the field. When you resolve the Blade Wing, you choose not to return anything to the battlefield. Then resolve the Valkyrie's trigger, which does damage to the dragon that dies. It's a state-based action. So you resolve the other. So you know what? I've included this basically for the advanced players. I would rather talk about something else that's a little bit more fun and a little bit more easy to understand. So moving on, then we're going to talk about, again, these are all Rakdos combos. They're all, I tried to keep them under $10. Some might be a little bit more, maybe a little less. I don't know. Scorpion God, Blowfly, Infestation, and Nest of Scarabs. It results in infinite card draw and near infinite enter the battlefield or leave the battlefield triggers. You've got to have everything on the board and a creature that is a X1 creature, one toughness. Can have any number of power, doesn't matter, just has to be something that you can slide a counter onto, a -1 counter, to kill it, which is automatically going to create an insect, which you then put another counter on and kill it, and repeat the process infinitely. So, again, provided you have the deck to make sense with, to make these work, it really comes down to how you feel about infinite combos. Here's another one that's I think is fun and simple, and I like it mainly for the nostalgia. The fact that I get to see cards that I haven't seen in forever. So Burnt Offering and Retaliate. It's going to wind up with infinite black mana, infinite red mana, and a storm count that's through the roof. You could even throw Magecraft in there if you wanted to. You need both the cards in your hand since they're instants, and an interrupt. Well, I guess interrupt doesn't matter anymore. Instants. So you cast the Burnt Offering and pay by sacrificing any creature with a value of 7 or more, and you can just pay for the buyback and just keep doing that over and over again until everybody in the table is dead but you. So we've got a couple of more. Actually, this will be number 5 here, I guess. We might have a bonus one. Anyhow, first day of class, Murderous Redcap, and Visitor Seer. Again, you're going to get your infinite enter the battlefield, infinite leaving the battlefield, and death triggers galore. All permanents need to be on the battlefield, but you need the first day of class in your hand. And what you're going to do is cast the first day of class, causing each creature that enters the battlefield under your turn to gain a +1/+1 counter and get haste until end of turn. You sacrifice the murderous Redcap to scry 1 with the persist trigger. Luckily, the -1 and -1 and +1 and +1s cancel each other out. So it's just going to come right back to the table, and you don't have to worry about that fact that it's got a -1/-1 counter on it because it gets canceled. You just trigger that again as much as you need, and every time you do it, you've got 2 damage you can do to any target. So at that point, it's a rather easy machine gunning the entire rest of the table. We're going to go with a Necromancer and Conspiracy and Goblin Bombardment for our final thing. So thanks for sticking around this long, and here's your bonus kill. This is another favorite of mine. This is probably going to go into the Tome Bound deck, but I really want to play it as is first. I'm not going to make it to either of my local game stores this week, probably. So it's going to be another week or so before I talk about the Tome Bound deck and those upgrades. But anyhow, in the meantime, getting back to this, we wind up with infinite damage, infinite sacrifice triggers, as well as enter the battlefield, leaving the battlefield, and death triggers. All we need is everything on the board, all 3 permanents on the board. Name humans under the Conspiracy, and 1 creature on the battlefield under your control. What you do is sacrifice the other creature to the Goblin Bombardment, dealing 1 damage to any target. Of course, the Necromancer triggers, creating a 2/2 zombie, which you then sacrifice and get a new token. So, good times. Anyhow, hopefully you enjoyed this. Hopefully this went a little bit slower and a little bit more easier to comprehend, since, you know, some of my listeners don't like to hit the pause button. How ridiculous is that? Anyhow, I bring that up because that was mentioned in the comments, and anybody that has any comments, I read and respond to everything. So if you want to keep in contact with me there while I was down sick with COVID, lots of you made comments and such and kept in touch that way. I really appreciate it. Thank you to all the new subscribers. If you are going to buy singles and you can't get them at your local game store, then use tcgplayer.com with the affiliate link Tibalt's Apprentice, all one word, no spaces or punctuation, and it helps out the channel immensely. Also, hit that like and subscribe button. If you do subscribe, I ask everybody, I'm not doing a giveaway these days, but I do ask you to go ahead and hit I subscribe, so I know. YouTube doesn't always let me know when folks subscribe, and I really appreciate it. And I want to thank you people. Thanks for watching.